put on my clock an hour and 15 minutes. And hopefully we have 20 minutes. All right, so one thing as a coach or as a speaker you never want to do is have slides not properly prepared. One thing an audience doesn't want to do is see you prepare for the slides. However, as a disclaimer, on my own behalf, I had an hour program prepared and didn't plan out just now that I had 18 minutes. So anyway, here we go. So first of all, weight management and performance. So I can give this in a very short period of time. And here's the first thing to know. Take the first let's do this number. Take the first 5 feet of your height and give yourself 100 pounds. Each inch taller than that, men give yourself 7 pounds per inch. Women give yourself 5 pounds per inch. That is your ideal weight. So have you figured that out? Now ask yourself, where are you? Are you weighing that? If you're not, pay attention. If you are, pay attention. And here's why. It really doesn't make a difference whether you're at that weight or not. I would ask you to consider that you need to be following this food plan regardless. Here's why. This is a functional MRI. And what you're seeing is the visceral fat. This is a thin guy. It's called tofu. Thin on the outside, fat on the inside. This person would never think that they have a problem with their weight. They would never be seeking a solution. Let's look closer. Now, this person has their kidneys right here. Their kidneys are floating in about 4 to 5 liters of fat. And the normal's 2. Obese is 10 to 15. There's the outside layer of fat. This person is healthy and thin. And there are the kidneys floating in the inside layer of fat, which is really, this person needs to decrease that amount of visceral fat. So you can't judge by appearance. Everybody needs to be participating with what I'm going to share with you. Here's another example, 5.86 liters of internal body fat. And these folks have this similar age, both similar male, BMI, body mass index to height, same percentage of body fat, but different levels of internal fat. Over here on the right side, much healthier than the left. Look at the difference of the internal organs here versus the internal organs there, and neither one of these people would suspect that they have any kind of issues. Visceral fat is the real killer. Here's another example of this. Just scan through these and look at how the fat increases substantially to this last one. Visceral fat. These are your organs trying to fully function when they have fat that's surrounding them. All right. This is a little bit tough to see, but there is the level of fat in blood that is centrifuged so the fat rises up to the top. After a normal meal, look at all the fat in the normal types of food that we all eat. So, weight management system. And look at your notes, and you can see that I have some questions that you can ask yourself. And I think all these questions, so I'll go real fast through these slides. All you need is a yes answer to one. And look through these questions on your own. A yes to one. I had a yes to several of these. And anyway, so you can read through those and see if you possibly might be addicted to the type of food that you eat. And addicted to the type of food that you eat would also mean that you're allergic to the food that you're eating. So I'll give you this as, well, let me read it to you. Obesity is being overweight, or being overweight is not a disorder of willpower, or it has nothing to do with willpower. Before I came into this program that I'm sharing with you, I started researching this not for myself. I had already slimmed down to 200 pounds. I thought that that was the lowest I could possibly be. I do skydiving. I'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. I have 2,000 skydives. In skydiving, a group jumps together, hooked up together, and that's called the base. The other people follow it out. They're called divers. The problem is if I weighed anything over 205, I could not match the fall rate of that group, and I would do what's called go low. That was my incentive to lose weight. 200 pounds, I could match the fall rate, and I could join the group. That's why I white-knuckled it down to 200 pounds. And I started this program, not for me. I started to learn for you, so I can teach you. And my first weigh-in, I weighed 190. I couldn't believe it. When I broke 180, I thought that was never going to be possible. My weigh-in now is, the last weigh-in was 176. If I get to 180, I'm too heavy. I haven't weighed 176 I didn't weigh that in high school. I was heavier than that in high school. And this is one of the great examples of blasting through what I think is possible. I can't trust what I think is possible. When you eat a certain way, your body responds. But the issue is, I never learned how to eat like that. Anyway, people are not aware that they have an allergy to flour, sugar, and quantities that sets up an uncontrollable craving. The problem can be arrested one day at a time by the action of weighing and measuring our food and abstaining from all flour and sugar. So, weight issues. It's a result of a biochemical mismanagement beyond the reach of willpower. And I'll show you a diagram of this. We'll come to it right now. So here's what happens. I used to take pictures at fat people, obese people. My wife said, you better stop doing it. Somebody's going to belt you. So, but I look at this at the airport, and I look at that guy, and I say, this is an example of an inflammatory response. It's not this guy's fault. He doesn't want to be like this, does he? Nobody's taught him how to eat. If he knew what I'm sharing with you, even in the short 18 minutes that we have, he could not possibly remain like this. It's not possible. Action, reaction, cause and effect. It's biochemistry. And so nobody ever taught him. And I'm going to talk a little bit longer about what this guy's eating, what he's doing. Look at the response. It's an inflammatory response. Now, here's what happens. The problem is we were told that get rid of fat, have a non-fat or low-fat diet, and eat complex carbohydrates. So we did that. And our waistbands expanded by eating these complex carbohydrates because of the nature of the complex carbohydrates. And so here's what happens. Fast act is what's called the glycemic index. Glycemic index means how fast the food is broken down into sugar. And what you want is a very low glycemic index. Because when you get fast-acting carbs, blood sugar rises very quickly, and that stimulates a host of things to happen. One is the pancreas releases insulin. Insulin is what carries the blood sugar, and when you have a lot of insulin, it takes part of the blood sugar into the muscles for energy, into the cells for energy, which is what you want. But it also takes part of the insulin into the fat cells for storage. Feast or famine, evolutionary days. That's what you don't want. So even eating a small amount, if it has a fast release of sugar, it's going to promote weight gain. Because part of it's going into the muscles, part of it's going into the fat cells. And the fat cells themselves are endocrine glands. Did you know that? Your fat cells release hormones. And what happens is the body sees starvation and inhibits the release of leptin. Just like the apostat. And so now your body is designed to get fat and keep fat for starvation periods, which we don't have anymore, right? And so too much insulin. Now, you have too much insulin in the bloodstream, which means you get to low sugar relatively fast. Some of the glucose in the cells that produce energy, more to the fat cells, and some insulin stays in the bloodstream producing low blood sugar. So what do you have when you have low blood sugar? You crave carb. And so now what happens is, at the cellular level, you're compelled to eat. Instincts trump intentions. So, there's a breakfast buffet at the Marriott this morning. Now, here's the real dilemma. With my room stay, I get free breakfast. Free breakfast. Free breakfast. And I tell you, I brought my own food. It kept me out of the buffet. I walked by the buffet, and I could see that there was healthy choices there. But what would I have done? If I allowed myself to have the buffet, I would have overeaten dramatically. I would have eaten a lot more eggs, healthy food, but I would eat quantities. I would have much too much. I would have potatoes, which I'm not having green right now anyway. I would have too much fruit. I would have overeaten, but I would have justified, I'm on the road, it's okay. I'll cut back in the other meals, which I ordinarily do, and I'll be just fine. And the bottom line is, that wouldn't have been good, because the quantity's there. But because I had a plan, because I had boundaries, I didn't go to the buffet. In fact, I didn't need to. I had my own breakfast. So let's continue to look at the serotonin mismanagement. It's serotonin and dopamine. Our brain communicates by neurotransmitters, chemicals. It takes an electrical impulse
turns it into a chemical. When low serotonin, when you have low serotonin in your synaptic gaps between neurons, you feel depressed, you feel lethargic. You can't maintain this thing. So, what do? You eat fast-acting carbs. This creates a chemical response. Serotonin is elevated. You feel good. Now what happens? You can't maintain this elevation. And so you get depressed. So what do? You eat more carbs. Our genetic coding doesn't favor weight management. Our genetic coding favors weight gain and weight retention because that's what favored survival for caveman. Caveman didn't have a refrigerator. Caveman didn't have all these processed food. Caveman had to hunt and gather and burn energy. We're still living like caveman, but we don't have that circumstance. I don't mind showing that. That's me at 235 pounds. I'm too fat. I'm too heavy. Do I know it? No, I think I'm doing fine. I wear sweats and expandable waist. I think I'm doing fine. I'm a little heavy, but I'm doing just fine. I carry it okay. Nobody taught me how to eat. When I learned how to eat, everything changed. Not his fault. Not her fault. These are responses to the way that we're eating. And what does society do? Society doesn't want you healthy. There's no money in healthy people. Society wants unhealthy people. And anyway, I'll show you. That's today. Which would I rather be? Well, I'd rather be this, but I don't believe that I can change. I don't believe that I can do it. I've tried it before. People don't take action on being in a food plan like this, not because they don't want the result, because they don't believe that they can do it. That's why. All right, so anyway, serotonin, dopamine is another neurotransmitter that gets you motivated to eat. So one night I'm sitting at home, this is when I was still eating flour and sugar, I have dopamine release. Who's in control of my behavior? Dopamine is a focusing and motivational chemical. I'm hungry. What I have is I have sensations, I have feelings. Dopamine motivates, takes these feelings and says, you need to be in action. Dopamine says, this is hunger. Not anxiety, this is hunger. And so that focuses me. I eat some wheat thins, I get serotonin release, it sustains the behavior. Serotonin has an opiate-like property, opiate, heroin, narcotic. I get addicted and I feel good, sustains the behavior. Bottom line is, I'm like that, not like that, without an intervention. That's 235, this is me now, 175, that's 215. That 215 was pretty good. That was my norm. If I'm at 215, I'm doing pretty good. 220, too heavy. Now it's, if I'm at 175, I'm doing pretty good. 180, too heavy. Look at the difference. Did I believe I was capable of doing that? No. No, I didn't. All right, so here's the food plan. You ready? All right, here we go. 3 weighed and measured meals. No snacking in between. The abstinence of flour, sugar, and individual binge foods. If you would have told me that I would never snack again, ever, I would have thought that's not possible. That's not possible. Because what did I do? I underate at breakfast, thought I had a healthy meal. Eating what's called a Carl's. Do you have Carl's Jr.'s out here? No. Well, I ate, it was the equivalent of an egg white McMuffin from McDonald's. And I thought I was eating pretty good, low calorie. I drank Diet Coke. I was under eating breakfast. Here comes lunch. What did I do for lunch? Went and had another fast food. I had a barbecue chicken sandwich. No dressing, plain, and that's a pretty good meal. But what I had was I had the flour from the bun. The bun was releasing fast-acting carbs, depressing my blood sugar, flooding my blood sugar. Insulin comes. Half into fat storage, half into the cells, more blood, more insulin. Now low blood sugar. Now I'm snacking. I'm snacking in between meals. It's not that I'm not disciplined or don't want to commit to this. I can't. You can't win the battle of human nature, of human instincts. My body was telling me, you got to eat. And so I would snack, I would binge, and then here comes dinner. I would overeat at dinner. The result was 235 pounds. And I thought I'm doing just fine. All my friends, the average adult gains about 2 pounds per year after the age of 24 per year. Anyway, step 1, get a digital scale. You're going to need a digital body weight scale so you can weigh yourself once a month. Starting out, once a month. That's it. We don't want to obsess about our weight. Step 2, buy a digital food scale. We live in a mathematical world. all my business, I was always teaching, you got to be precise, you got to measure, you got to track. Never thought about doing it for food. Weigh and measure on purpose. And then buy an Omron. There are scales, body weight scales that you can buy that would not only give you your body fat percentage, will also give you your visceral fat percentage. I haven't seen one of those. I mean, I know that they exist. I don't have one. But an Omron is about $40. You can get it on Amazon. And just make sure you scan it because you're going to see some for $70. Same thing. Find one for 40. That you put in your height, you put in your weight, and your age, and it tells you what your body fat percentage is. Body mass index is really not much, but you can at least look at it for a comparison. And that's our plan. So here's the food grade. Here's breakfast. So you have your digital body fat scale, you have your digital food scale in ounces, and you have your Omron. You are armed and ready to compete. Breakfast, same for men and women. 8 ounces of yogurt. Now you can have some substitutions if you're interested. Send me an email. I'll give you the substitutions about, for example, 4 ounces of yogurt equals 2 ounces of protein and so forth. But anyway, 2 ounces of egg. 1 ounce of oatmeal. I prefer what's called grouts, but oatmeal, and then 6 ounces of fruit. Oatmeal is the only thing you measure here before you're cooking. This is same for men, same for women. That's breakfast. Now, if you look at this, one of the comments that I get back from people is that I've never eaten this much. There's too much food. Well, that's where you've got to, just check in with yourself. And if you can eat all of it, you eat all of it. And also 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. So you get omega-3s, high fiber. This is a beautiful breakfast. After I eat this for breakfast, guess what? Guess what I feel like? I want more. So I drink liquid. Liquid fills the stomach, creates what's called a stretch reflex, also causes leptin to be released, where I feel satisfied. And so this is a beautiful breakfast. Fantastic. I bring it with me on the road. All I had to do is heat up the grouts. You're using 1 ounce of oatmeal. And I mix it. What a great breakfast. Kept me out of the circumstance that I might have had a problem with. Lunch. Here we go. 6 ounces of protein. Women, there's 4 for you. 6 ounces of protein. 6 ounces of steamed vegetables. 8 ounces of salad. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Let me think how many times I ate like this before the program. Never. Never. I would have breakfast, under eating, snack in between, go have my healthy hamburger. Well, I thought was healthy, not hamburger, but a chicken sandwich. Not healthy. I have a bun. And that's, not only do I have the bun, but I'm not eating 6 ounces of protein. That slab of chicken is about 2 ounces of protein. 2 things I'm doing that's incorrect. I'm under eating. I'm not having salad. I'm under eating, and I've got the fast-acting carb from the bun. We don't eat bread. Bread is your enemy. Dinner is the same thing as lunch, except you add 6 ounces of fruit. Same thing. And women, only difference is 4 ounces of protein for lunch. And you keep on this until you get into that range of your first 5 feet of height, 1 inch, 7 or 5 pounds. When you get in that range, so for me, I think it's about 170. I'm 5'10" and a half. I shrunk a little bit. So what's that put me? 175. That's right where I am. When you do that, you can add in a starch. So I added in 4 ounces of rice, and I gained weight. Rice has a high glycemic. It breaks down even brown rice, so I took it out again. It becomes a dosage. All right. The yogurt that I like is Trader Joe's European Syro yogurt. And it's 8 o'clock. You want another 5 minutes, or should I?
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Okay. So I stayed away from fat. Non-fat as much as I could. I never ate hamburgers. I never ate steak. I stayed away until this program. Your body needs fat. Olive oil, never touched it until this program. What do you call avocados? Never touched it until this program. The body needs fat, the good kind of fat. This is what I prefer. You can also get non-fat, less calories, but that's not what's important. What's important is you look at the disguised ingredients. You don't look at the nutrients. That's what's naturally in the food. You look at what's added. You can have sugar that's in the food. Broccoli has 2 grams of sugar in the nutrients. That's fine, but nothing added. Let's look at this. Cultured pasteurized milk. That's good. Fructose. Number 2, the second ingredient is sugar. you wouldn't have this. A lot of times with the non-fat yogurt, they've taken out the fat and they put in sugar. And so, how about this? Ingredients. Authentic Greek honey. What's that? Sugar, right? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. If it's in the top 5 of the ingredients, you don't have it. And so there it is, number 5. Stay away. Don't worry about what's in the, you see a lot of sugar in here, 27 grams. That's a lot, but if I didn't see here, I couldn't have that. All right. So this, I'm now using a lot of Mountain High yogurt. You have that out here? Yeah. I like that. And if you look at the ingredients, everything looks pretty fine. I don't worry about the calories. The body needs fat. And so ingredients were fine. If you would have told me that I had an addiction to sugar that I didn't know about because I thought I was healthy, I was eating Golden Spoon frozen yogurt. Non-fat or low-fat Golden Spoon frozen yogurt. I thought I was healthy as could be. Couldn't quite get this weight off of me, but I thought I was healthy as could be. And then I learned all about this. And lo and behold, look at what I have. The ingredients. Corn, sugar, corn syrup. And if you would have, I had this every single day for 20 plus years. Every day, I had either a pint in the small, or I had 2 pints. Every single day. If the store's going to be closed because of a holiday the next day, I got my stash the night before. Rarely did it make it to the next day. So you look through that list of questions and ask yourself, were you possibly addicted? I was addicted to sugar. Not my fault. I didn't know it. I thought I was healthy. I just thought that I was big. I could white knuckle it down to 205 or so for skydiving. Couldn't hold it. My natural was 220. I thought that's the way it is. If somebody would have come to me with a program that could change that, I wouldn't have believed that it was possible. Look at this. Remember that this is a profit nation, for profit. There's no money in healthy people. Look at what the FDA allows advertising to do. 0 calories, no artificial sweeteners. All right, this seems like it should be good for you, right? Turn it over, look at the ingredients. Let me flip it over for you. 0 sugars in the nutrition. Looks pretty good so far, right? Let's look at the ingredients. I just flipped that over. Number 1 is water. Number 2 is erythritol. What is that? Artificial sugar, manufactured sugar. And they allow this company to advertise no sugar, no artificial sweeteners. It's a fraud on the American. There's a movie coming out. I don't know if it's out yet. I haven't seen it yet. Fed Up. Have you heard about that movie? I'm going to tell you, it's going to be talking about flour and sugar and the addiction that we're all in. Now, John Yudkin wrote a book called Pure White and Deadly about sugar, the avoidance of sugar. And he almost became discredited because first of all, he said, low fat is not the answer. The body needs fat. It's flour and sugar. The sugar industry threw a fit, almost discredited him. I mean, the money is out there. The money is out there to keep America unhealthy. It's a dosage, is what it is. So, there's our food plan. And so let me get back to this guy, and I'll go maybe another. I'll go until I finish. It's not going to be too much longer. And now you look at this guy, thinks he's doing good because he's not eating much. He's got a small hamburger and some French fries. French fries, grains. If you're on maintenance, you can have potatoes, but you wouldn't want to have French fries. That's the bad kind of fat. But anyways, he's eating a hamburger, some fries, maybe drinking a Diet Coke, which is okay. And but what's he doing? He's under eating. He's got fast-acting carbs in the bun, 2 ounces of protein in the hamburger, not enough, no salad. So when he gets on the airplane, in a very short period of time, he's going to be hungry. What's he going to do? He's going to eat some more fast-acting carbs, some pretzels, peanuts maybe, and he's going to be snacking all the way. He's going to have lunch, inappropriate lunch. He's going to be snacking until dinner, overeat at dinner, inappropriate type of eating. That's the result. Nobody saw it. So, this is what it looks like the way now. I'm on a 10-ounce salad. Very healthy. This is what this is a 4-ounce tuna, and then 6 ounces of vegetables. That's a lot. That's a great meal. I never ate lunch like this. But what I do is I prepare in advance, put it in the refrigerator, and I make about a week in advance, and I put the rest in the freezer. When I go on the road, I take my frozen stuff with me, and whatever I need to carry with me, not frozen, for the airport. And I don't have to worry about it. Now it's a non-issue because you're re-educating yourself. Food is a drug. Let me ask you, you ever have dental surgery where you had to take antibiotics? Anybody ever had that? Did you ever say, I can't wait to take my antibiotics? These antibiotics are so exciting. I love them. Do you approach it like that? Because it's a drug. You take it as it's prescribed. It's not about food anymore. Food is for nutrition. Food isn't love. So it's not about what's on the table, it's about who's around the table. And that's a re-education. I used to grill chicken breast. Keep this in the room. I ate them all. One second. I ate one as I was cooking it. As it gets done, I ate it before you know it. Well, there's 5. Okay. Like that one disappeared. And I ate them all. But the rationalization is healthy stuff. Grilled chicken, healthy stuff. Now I weigh and measure. Now I have a boundary. And there's an example of how you would weigh and measure. And I never ate steak or meat before this program. Now I eat hamburgers, I eat steak. We need the good fat. We need cholesterol. Our body needs cholesterol. It's just the balance, and I mix it all together. There's a road trip, salad, vegetables, and that would be the protein. Wheat. I'll end after this. Wheat. We're eating ourselves to death by eating wheat. It's 70% carbohydrates. Of that, 75% is called amylopectin, 25% amylose. And so the body, in the mouth, you have an enzyme called amylase. In the stomach, you also have amylase. And it breaks down the amylose in relatively effectively. What doesn't get put into the colon and excreted, but that handles amylose. Amylase also, 75% of wheat is amylopectin. And there's 3 types of amylopectin. One is a type C that you find in beans. Very difficult to break down. Amylase doesn't do very well with that. It gets sent into feeding the bacteria in the colon, which makes us gassy. But beans are not well broken down. A little bit easier to break down would be potatoes and bananas, amylopectin B. Now, amylase has a great affinity for amylopectin A, which is wheat. Amylase takes this wheat and rips apart the bonds, creates this complex into a simple carbohydrate, the sugar, and now you get an increase in blood sugar, increase in the insulin, and what happens is you get what's called wheat belly. And you get fat because you're eating. I used to eat wheat bread. I thought I was really doing something. Look at the glycemic index. Check this out. Wheat bread is really dyed bread most of the time. Wheat bread, wheat flour, 77 index, and it's higher than table sugar. Sucrose, 68 index. Eating wheat bread is worse than taking a spoonful of table sugar. And Wonder Bread is right about the same as wheat bread. And unbelievable. Anyway, so what happens is you get that high spike of the blood sugar, insulin release, you get the low blood sugar, cravings, that cycle goes on. Anything that's 70 or greater is high. Stay away, stay away. Anything, here's your medium, there's your low. Anyway, that's my food plan. And I want to tell you, did you have this right here? Everybody write it down? Everybody have it? If all you did was stay on this food plan, then go out and get the right kind of food. The cruciferous vegetables, kale, collard greens. Did they ever eat collard greens before? Or kale? I can't live without that stuff. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and salad is your main meal. And what starts to happen is you have a boundary. So you eat breakfast, 4 to 5 hours later you have lunch. 4 to 5 hours later you have dinner. You don't eat in between, you don't eat afterwards. I go to bed earlier in my house than anybody else. I woke up one night at 11:30. My wife's still downstairs watching TV. I come downstairs, non-conscious. Where do I go? Refrigerator. I open the refrigerator, and then I start thinking, not my food. Not my food. Because I've already had dinner, I eat for breakfast now. And I close the refrigerator door. And the reason I can do that is because I still have dinner digested because of the types of carbohydrates that I ate with the vegetables and the protein. I'm not having to fight feeling hungry because I can't win that battle. So now, when you're on this food plan, before you're on it, you used to stuff your face. Now that you're on it, you face your stomach. Because I realized that this feeling was not hunger, it was anxiety. And then that's one of the things that happens as a result of this, is you start noticing feelings being different than hunger. Because we have no idea. We are desensitized to our cues for hunger. Any feeling, we stuff it with food. Anyway, if you use this, you're going to love it. I'm on my second notch on my belt. I've lost my wedding ring swimming. This is my temporary wedding ring. And anyway, you're going to love it. You deserve it. You do have to love yourself. You have to have self-care because you do have to prepare the food. All right, Arnie, we're done.
All right. Again, if you would all help thank Bob for coming out. Afterwards to talk to the folks.
I'll be out there. I've got some books and CDs and DVDs to talk to you about it, and as well as the 3 programs you have in page 5.
All right, folks, thanks for coming. And if you'd like to see more of Bob, he'll be back at 11:30 in the 11:15, excuse me, in the Building 100 Briefing Center.
And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to give you about 30 minutes of new information, and then we're going to implement this. That's
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right, folks, thanks for coming. Good night.
Good night. Good sky.